the Westerlands, slightly north of Lannisport, rising amidst the sunset sea, sits a fortress, 3 times the height of the wall, the ancient seat of House Lannister, known as Casterly Rock. No castle in the Seven Kingdoms is larger, richer, or better defended. Lord Tywin of House Lannister, the late hand of the king, warden of the West and lord of Casterly Rock, was the most powerful lord in Westeros. Tywin's name was feared through the Seven Kingdoms. Some things he's known for was the complete destruction, root and stem of House Reign of Castamere, which led the singers to write the song Reigns of Castamere. He is also known for killing Rhaegar's children and wrapping them in Lannister cloaks before presenting them to King Robert Baratheon. He pulled the strings for the Red Wedding, although the Freys get the credit or the blame. No matter what you think of Lord Tywin, he was a cunning man, calculated and brilliant. He was a great hand to several kings and a strategic, brilliant leader, which brings me to today's theory, that there is only one other man with half his like. Tyrion Lannister, his son. There's a popular fan theory that Tyrion is a Targaryen, but I think the evidence suggests if any of Tywin's children are Targaryens, then it's Jaime and Cersei and not Tyrion. But I don't even think that they're Targaryens, but Tyrion is truly the son of Tywin. Now, I'm going to go through points that others have made towards their claim that Tyrion is a Targaryen, and I'm going to go through my own evidence that he is in fact a Lannister. I'll let you decide, and you can let me know in the comments what you think. The first thing we need to clarify is the 3 heads of the dragon theory, that there will be 3 dragon riders. A lot of people think the riders to be Jon, Dany, and Tyrion, and I agree with them, but that doesn't mean he has to be a Targaryen. The 3 prominent houses or houses talked about mostly on the show or in the books are Lannister, Stark, and Targaryen. So it's not far-fetched to say that the 3 riders of the dragons or the 3 heads of the dragons will be a Lannister, a Stark, and a Targaryen. So there's this common belief that you have to have Targaryen or Valyrian blood to ride a dragon. And some think because Rhaegal and Viserion didn't burn Tyrion or eat him, that means he must have Valyrian blood. But Valyrians didn't birth dragons, and they aren't descendants of dragons, even though they claim to be. The dragons were birthed by the volcanic mountains known as the 14th Flames of Valyria. Valyrians just learned how to tame them. They were brave. During the Dance of Dragons, which should be called the Doom of Dragons, there were all these dragons on Dragonstone, but no dragon riders. So Rhaenyra's son said that anyone that could tame a dragon or bind it to their will successfully would be granted lands and titles. This was first extended to bastard Targaryens, but others that were brave and not Targaryens took up the offer as well. And whether they truly had the blood of old Valyria, it is not confirmed. Many died, but some succeeded. Which brings me to this girl named Nettles. She was the complete opposite of what a Valyrian would look like. She had brown skin, black hair, brown eyes, but she was bonded with a dragon by bringing him a sheep every morning, which made the dragon accustomed to her. She named him Sheep Stealer and mounted him and flew him. When Rhaenyra wanted to kill her for fucking her husband, Nettles was last seen flying on Sheep Stealer. So there's your evidence you don't have to have Valyrian blood to be a dragon rider. And having Valyrian blood doesn't keep a dragon from biting your head off your fucking body or bathing you in a river of flame. In the case of Quentyn Martell, whom thanks because of his ancient Targaryen lineage, he can sneak into the pit and tame Daenerys' dragons while she's gone. He winds up being killed by Rhaegal. And Rhaenyra Targaryen was also eaten by her brother's dragon. So we can dispel the thought that you have to be a Targaryen to ride a dragon, or if you're not a Targaryen, then that excludes you from riding a dragon. So Tyrion, son of Tywin, can still be ahead of the dragon while still being a Lannister. So next, what people call the smoking gun. is this relationship of sorts between Tyrion's mother, Joanna, and the Mad King Aerys. Aerys was said to have lusted for Joanna and actually took certain liberties with her during her wedding ceremony to Tywin in 263 AC, going as far as to insinuate that he took her maidenhead. This came from Sir Barristan Selmy. He tells Daenerys this while they are in Meereen. So 3 years later, she has Jaime and Cersei. So we know that they weren't conceived during this. And Tyrion is even older than them, so they weren't conceived during whatever liberties he took. However, in 272 AC, 1 year before Tyrion was born, Joanna did go to court for a tourney, and Tyrion could have been conceived there. There's no evidence that anything happened at this tourney other than Aerys asking her if breastfeeding her kids had ruined her tits, which would kind of insinuate that he hasn't seen her tits lately. But if you were a believer in Tyrion as a Targ, then I guess you can get 1 point here, and this can kind of keep that theory alive, because that time frame would put them two together around the time of Tyrion's conception, just them two in the same location. But there was thousands of people at this tourney, and now they're all secret Targaryens. Next, we move to A Feast for Crows, when Jaime goes to lift the siege of Riverrun and take back the castle after Tywin's death. Tywin's sister is there, Jenna Lannister. She was married to a Frey, and she was on Jaime's war council. And during a conversation she has with Jaime, she tells him some pretty interesting stuff. Jaime asks her if she loves Tywin. She admits that she did, and she says, "Who will protect us now?" Jaime kissed her cheek. "He left the sun." "Aye, he did. That's what I fear most, in truth." That was a queer remark. "What should you fear?" "Jaime," she tugged on his ear, "I have known you since you were a babe at Joanna's breast. You smile like Tyrion and fight like Tig. And there is some of Kevin in you, else you wouldn't wear that cloak. But Tyrion is Tywin's son, not you. I said so once to your father's face, and he wouldn't speak to me for half a year. Men are such thundering great fools, even the sort who come along once in 1,000 years." I take this quote as what it is. Tyrion is Tywin's son. He's more like Tywin than Jaime or Cersei. Tyrion is the type of man to only be born every 1,000 years, just as Tywin. Tyrion was an excellent hand, just like Tywin. Strategic in his moves, just like Tywin. Tywin was not a fool. He seems the type to turn a blind eye rather than to admit folly when it occurs in his own household. Like in the case of Jaime and Cersei. He has to know about it. He has to know. But he won't hear it, he won't believe it, he won't speak it. And this is the same as with Tyrion. He won't believe he could ever father such a beast of a dwarf, but deep down he knows. And I know if Tyrion had been the Mad King's son, if it was even a thought, Tywin would have carried him out into the sea. Infant slaying was not below him. But Tyrion was a Lannister. Tywin wishes Tyrion was not his son, because he blames Tyrion for killing the love of his life, and Tyrion's deformity also looks like a stain on the great house of Lannister, as shallow as it sounds. He doesn't like Tyrion drinking and joking and japing and shaming, but really, Tyrion does these things because he's probably psychologically hurt that his father doesn't accept him. He dishonors him, disinherits him, although Casterly Rock is his birthright.
And I would let myself be consumed by maggots before mocking the family name and making you heir to Casterly Rock.
Another reason Tywin despises his son Tyrion is because of his whoring. Tytos, Tywin's father, was known to do the same type of thing, and Tywin hated it, even though he secretly partook in whoring himself. There are even whispers that Tywin had Tytos killed to prevent the ruin of House Lannister, which would explain when Tyrion kills Tywin him saying, "You're not my son," or "You're no son of mine," with conviction. Because at that point, Tywin himself is convinced that Tyrion is his son, and he sees himself in Tyrion. And then Tyrion goes farther enough to tell him, "I am your son. I've always been your son. The dynamic between Tyrion and Tywin adds so much to the story, to Tyrion's story. I think secretly making him a Targaryen would take away all that it added to the bigger picture. But that's just my opinion. So another reason people think Tyrion is a secret Targaryen is because he says he dreamed of dragons in a roundabout way. Dany, Daemon, other Targs have dragon dreams, but Tyrion was just basically a kid that was fascinated with dragons and fire, similar to children being fascinated with dinosaurs or outer space. So he didn't have literal dragon dreams like Daenerys, Daeron, Daemon, or Aemon. It was more in the context of, I always dreamed I would have a dragon. Like that. So another reason people think he is a secret Targaryen is because of his appearance, his mixed-matched eyes and his pale blonde hair that was mixed with black. Tyrion has one green eye and one black eye. Targaryens have purple eyes, indigo or lilac, some maybe a pale blue, and usually silver hair or pale blonde. So we have some characters with mixed-matched eyes, and their mixed-matched eyes are considered birth defects. Shira Seastar, whom is a Targaryen bastard, has one green eye and one blue eye. Euron Greyjoy has one blue eye and one black eye. So could that mean anything? Well, I don't think it means anything other than Tyrion has a birth defect, and so does Euron, and so does Shira Seastar. Would it be so far removed to believe a man that was born with a birth defect of dwarfism would also have the birth defect of mixed-matched eyes? I don't think so. Tywin's eyes are green and Tyrion has one green eye. If he had one lilac eye, then I might be a little more on the Targaryen bandwagon. But I don't think anything screams Targaryen. His hair being pale blonde mixed with black, does that really mean anything? Because blonde hair comes in all shades. Even Targaryens with their pale silver hair comes in shades of beaten gold. I think it's just a fancy way of saying blonde. If any of Tywin's children were secret Targaryens, I think it would be more likely Jaime or Cersei. Cersei is more like the Mad King than any of the characters in the show, and her and Jaime practice incest like it's just a normal thing, and they're also the image of beauty. Although I think all of Tywin's kids are Tywin's kids, it would be ironic if only Tyrion was his true son, the son that he shunned. So in my opinion, Tyrion is Tywin's son. He is the heir to Casterly Rock, a man born only every 1,000 years, and still the rider of Viserion. If Viserion isn't turned into a zombie ice-breathing dragon. I hope you guys like this video. Let me know what you think. Who is Tyrion's father? Do you really need to be a Valyrian or have Valyrian blood to ride a dragon? Or is it just the same as training any other pet and you just need to be brave and smart and consistent? Thanks for watching, and thanks for all the love you've been showing me. Please like this video if you like it, and please subscribe to be notified when I upload. Alright, my sweet summer children, have a great night.
Mine. I am your son. I have always been your son.